Sometimes love isn't enough. As an adoptive mom, people would often say this to me, as if to imply I couldn't love my son enough to change behaviors or heal his trauma, so I should probably just give up. At least that's how I took those four powerful words, which had buried themselves deeply in my mind, leading me to doubt my ability to parent my child. Sometimes love isn't enough. That is the truth. Oftentimes, you need love and powerful, personalized tools to raise a child who's experienced trauma and disrupted attachment, or a child who you're struggling to connect with. I am on a mission to help parents raising kids with a tricky past to show up with unconditional love and practical tools to lovingly manage even the most challenging of times. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Plus, if you like what you hear, I'd love for you to leave a review. Now let's get to the good stuff. Welcome back to Sometimes Love Isn't Enough. This is Angie Grandt, your host. And for this episode, I want to talk about how I am perfectly designed to lead to your generational healing. I feel like that's a bold statement, but the more that I dig into my design, the more that I keep hearing myself say this to people, that it's in my design, that I am here to help people break generational cycles, heal from trauma. So I want to explain a little bit about that to you. And so if you know a little bit about human design, feel free to follow along as I talk about the different elements of my design and how I've come to this strong belief that this is exactly what I'm here to do. I believe in my heart that human design isn't just a tool. It's a new way of being. When I first started learning about it, it was presented as a sort of a personality assessment. And the 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 gift or the I don't know, the reason that you would choose this tool over perhaps like the Myers-Briggs or some other type of assessment is that our human design is innate in us. It's part of who we were born to be. We've had the same design, our natal design, since the moment we were born. And parts of our design have been there since, months before that. Where when we take any other type of personality assessment, well, it's our conditioned self, it's our mind taking those assessments. And I think about this a lot. I was talking about this at a recent workshop that I was hosting, that we are all taught to make decisions from our mind. But our mind, everything that's in our mind has come from the outside world. Our intuition, our gut, is what is true to us. But what's in our mind came from somewhere. And so when I think about how human design is so very different than anything else out there, at the core of it, that's it. It is the energy of who you are. It is a way of being. So occasionally I'll do human design readings where I help people understand their design. And I love the gift that gives to people to get that basic beginning understanding about their unique energy. But it's a challenging place to be in, right? Like I want more people to understand their design so that they can step into who they are. But you can't just learn it and then check that off the box. Like, oh, I learned my design. I guess I'm a generator or I'm a 2/4 profile or whatever it might be. No, you can't just learn it. It's about integrating it and having this increased awareness about your actual energetic needs. Because chances are, and I'll share a little bit about this as I talk about my design, but chances are you I don't even want to say chances are. You have been conditioned that being who you are isn't safe or isn't okay. So the person that you're showing up as today has some level of conditioning, likely a lot of conditioning, which means that the person that you are today is perhaps living in the shadows of parts of your design and isn't fully stepping in to all of the potential that you bring here to this beautiful planet. So when I think about my design and how like I said, I know in my heart I am perfectly designed to help people. I focus on parents because I my entire career I have worked with families, worked with children, and I see time and time and time again that parents are trying to change the way that they were parented. They're trying to break old patterns, but patterns are hard to break. When you don't know what else is possible, when you don't know how to break that pattern, when you don't understand fully why that pattern is so ingrained in us, it isn't just what we saw our parents do. It's also ingrained in our energy. We are living out energetic patterns from our grandparents and our great grandparents and our great 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 grandparents, right? That energy is passed down from generation to generation, and we're living that out. And so changing that isn't about another parenting book or a parenting podcast, even, right? It's about shifting how you step in to your truest potential. But they don't tell us this you know, in parenting classes. My goodness, could you imagine if when you were expecting, whether expecting through adoption or expecting through pregnancy, could you imagine if part of the core necessary curriculum was to understand your unique energetic needs and your babies? Could you imagine how differently we would show up? Well, I I know and I see it in my design that this is exactly what I'm here to do is to help break those patterns that aren't serving us anymore. So at the very surface level, I'm a generator. I have the generator energy, which means that I have the ability to respond to what is showing up in my environment, what is showing up in my life, and I get to, with my sacral, make decisions about what feels right for me. And as a generator, I have energy to do the work, to serve clients on top of my regular day job. And I love that. I love feeling totally fulfilled during my work during the day and then having so much that lights me up outside of that. So being a generator puts me in a beautiful position to have the energy to do that. I also am a 2-5 profile. So what does that mean? And what does it mean for you? Well, that two part of me, it's waiting to be called out. It's waiting for my gifts to shine. And when they do, oh my goodness, I so quickly picked up on human design, picked up on using EFT with my clients. As a two line, things come so naturally easy to me, which makes, which helps you because when I'm bringing a new tool to my clients, I pick it up so quickly and it becomes easy for me. But I also have a 5 in my profile, which means that I am a natural leader. And what that means is that I have this ability to connect and support and provide really practical tools to my clients and then retreat and wait for that next moment when I need to step in again as the leader and provide more practical tools. And then I retreat. When I think about being a coach, supporting people who are struggling, I find that also my openness. So I have a very open design. The centers that are defined in my body graph are my sacral as a generator. And then my emotional solar plexus is defined, as is my spleen, which means that all of the rest of my design is open and ready to mirror back to you your true value, your direction, your lovability. I have this beautiful gift to to show you through me where you're struggling and where you're not. I have this ability to see your gifts because I have so many undefined centers in my chart. I would also say that my defined solar plexus is it helps me create a safe and calm, predictable space for your emotional needs. And my defined spleen helps me keep those fears in check and not amplify any fears that you might be having about parenting or working with a coach, right? I the parts of my design that are defined, I think put me in such a beautiful position to serve and to be present and to not take on emotions and fears from others, perhaps in that same way. I should add, though, part of my core four is gate 19, which is the gate of sensitivity. So my gate 19 brings with it this um, ability to be so sensitive to the needs of others. But because I have a defined solar plexus, I don't take on other people's emotions and amplify them. I can feel what you're trying to share, but I'm not absorbing or taking on your energy or amplifying it. Another part of my core four is gate 44. So gate 44, well, a couple of things about gate 44. One, it is specifically designed to recognize patterns that are no longer serving us. And on the gift side, it senses which patterns need to be broken. It is my design in my core four to recognize patterns that are no longer serving us and to break those. And also that gate 44 is energetically seeking a connection with gate 26. Gate 26 resides in our will center, and it's where we hold trauma. I can tell you that in my life, the people that I have attracted into my life have the gate 26 defined. Many of the people in my life, in my experiences, have the gate 26 defined. My my life's work is energetically attracting people to me who need healing. It is a core part of my design. I also have um, that gate 24 is also a huge part of my core four. And although on the shadow side, it's led me down so many paths of settling for less than I deserve, now I'm stepping into that energy to really see my value and to see yours. When I tap into the gift energy that comes with gate 24 and I really see my value, it helps me see your value. Me stepping into to recognizing that I'm here to serve you, that I'm here to break those patterns of trauma, the generational patterns. When I stepped into the confidence that comes with that, it put me in such an amazing place to help you also to see your own value. Um, Also, another fun part of my core four is that gate 33. So gate 33 is is the gate of storytelling. It uses storytelling to see patterns from the past and to share things that have happened in the past in a way to change and transform. When I put all of those together about seeing which patterns need to be broken, stepping into your value, using storytelling and that gate of sensitivity to really pull all of that together to serve, I I can't help but see that I am so perfectly designed to help break these generational patterns. And and I'm s- and and me understanding this about me helps me to understand you better. Because let's be honest, human design can be so complicated and confusing. You see that body graph and it's like, what in the heck does this thing even mean for me? Well, when I think about our design and when I really started to wrap my head around it and make sense of it for me, our design is telling a story. It's telling both a victim and a victor story about who you have the potential to be, who you're showing up as now, who you've been in the past. It has all of that story interwoven in it. And I think about um back in the day when it was a like select, I forget what they called it, but it was basically like choose your adventure kind of story, right? And that's the gift of human design is that when you see what what your potential is, what that path is, and what that spectrum of negative to positive energy is, you get to choose your path. You get to, once you have that awareness, you get to make a conscious decision to say, like, whoa, I am fed up with living in that yuck of the shadows of, for example, I was saying with my gate 24, where I have spent decades settling for less than I deserve. I had a million excuses about why I didn't deserve better in all areas of my life. Learning that energetically, that was a part of my core, a part of the lesson that I'm here to learn on this planet, my mind was just blown like, oh, it's not that I don't deserve. It's that energetically, I'm designed to learn the lesson about value. I'm designed to learn the lesson about not settling for less than I deserve because I need to help others see that in themselves too. If we're going to change the trajectory for our kids and future kids, we must show up differently. I've been thinking a lot lately about how we talk a lot about what has happened during the pandemic and how that's had such a huge impact on the way that parents parent, the way that kids socialize, the way that they play, the way they interact, the way that they learn. I mean, my goodness, the CDC has talked about or has adjusted age expectations for developmental milestones because of the pandemic, because kids weren't reaching milestones at the same age that they had prior to the pandemic. Things have changed dramatically, but it isn't just the pandemic. We're also in the midst of this huge energetic shift. If you follow human design, or if you're new to human design, through the lens of human design, things are shifting energetically on a much bigger scale than just in each of us individually. We, for the past 400 years, have been in this era of planning, which came with it structure and routines and systems. And we're moving away from that. And we're moving into the era of individuality, which means that it's not about being selfish at all. It's about we must step into who we are. We must step into our fullest potential because that is the way to be sustainable as we move into this new energy. We must have a full cup. We must be taking care of ourselves to really thrive as we transition into this new era of the individual. So let's go back a little bit about human design because I want to make sure that I share the rest of this because it's so interwoven. All of our designs have what's called a conundrum, right? So for example, my profile is a 2/5. Both the 2 and the 5 like to hermit. It makes me very much an introvert, actually. That fifth line of me is the one who does podcasts, who likes to give presentations, who likes to hold workshops, but I like to go do my thing and then come back and retreat and not be out there socializing. But part of my design, I'm designed to attract people who need connection, who need community. And that is very much a conundrum in my chart because I am energetically designed to be such an introvert in so many ways, to hermit. But in order for me to serve the people who need me, the people who are on this planet waiting for me to step up, they need connection and community. And so it puts me in a position to figure out, how do I take good care of my own energy as a 2/5 profile while also me showing up energetically for people who need this level of generational healing, but also need connection and community. So all of our designs have a bit of a conundrum in them. That's just one example of mine, but there are many, many others. But even with that being said, there are so many elements in our design where when we really understand it, we see that there's this beautiful flow, how it all flows together. So, the next thing I want to share is that I have two superpowers or strengths or channels in my chart. One being the 59-6. This is the energy. It connects the sacral to the emotional solar plexus. And this channel or superpower is this beautiful gift to connect. Like I was saying about that fourth line where I'm here to speak to the fourth line profile energy. What, but that's my superpower also, is this beautiful ability to connect. And I see this happen time and time and time again, where, again, like energetically, I like to hermit, but people will tell me the most intimate, deep, personal stories. And oftentimes I'm thinking, like, I did not invite this. They're telling me such personal things, but I did invite it because energetically, my 59-6 channel invited that vulnerability, helped people feel safe to share. I also, my other channel or gate, my other channel or superpower or strength is the channel 3457. And this one is about power, but not in a forceful way. It's about being powerful by just being, which creates safety and security and a place where people can congregate and feel community and connection again, just by me being me, not by me doing anything. It's just by me being me. And what I was saying when we first started today was that human design isn't a tool, it's a new way of being. And when I realized that not only do I have one of my strengths is about connection, I I had this huge awareness that when people open up to me, it isn't a bad thing. Not that I thought it was a bad thing, but it's evidence to me that I'm showing up in my highest energy. And when I step into that channel of power, when I am being somebody who brings that energy of power to to a workshop or to a client that I'm working with one-on-one, it gives me this beautiful way to help them feel safe and unified. Um, so, and then the last thing that I want to say is that, you know, in in my nodes, so both of my nodes, my north and my south nodes, so this is about what we're supposed to experience during the first 30 years of our life and then from 30 on. And both of my nodes are in the emotional solar plexus. So what does that really mean for me in real life? Well, it means that in how I'm supposed to show up for you, how I'm here to be me, is that I sit back and observe. I'm a calm, safe presence, and I experience a ton of your energy. I experience your ideas, your pressure, your needs, and I take what I experience from you, plus my own traumas, my own experiences, and I see patterns. I learn from your energy, and I use storytelling and my ability to make even the woo pretty practical with my fifth line. Because of my design, my energetic gifts, and my experiences, this is why I'm here to serve you. I've created a program where I serve clients who are stuck. Most often, the clients who come to me are stuck in parenting patterns that aren't working, that are creating frustration, that are at times causing parents to question whether or not they did the right thing, whether or not they're cut out to parent their kids. And it breaks my heart to see parents who are struggling so much because I've been there. I too was in a position where I question why I became a parent in the first place, despite all of the tools in my tool belt, uh, so many books, so many workshops, so many certifications, and I felt like a total failure in my parenting when I had my parenting hat on. I wasn't getting it right. And what I was doing when I was trying so hard just kept making things worse and worse and worse. And becoming a mindset coach was a huge game changer for me. When I started sharing that with clients about how much control we have over what we're thinking and feeling and who we're being, that was a game changer, but it wasn't enough. And when I realized that, right, that thinking and feeling, that who we're being, right, thinking and feeling is who we're being, when I really started to integrate who I was being, which is my design, that's when the doing changed, right? Our thoughts plus our feelings do create our actions. But when we have a limited pool of thoughts and feelings that we're pulling from, it it isn't energetically aligned with who we are necessarily, because if we're using just mindset tools, it's a little cookie cutter. And I say that in full honesty about how I had first started serving clients, that I was using the tools to help them and I saw progress, but it wasn't specifically aligned with this client's energetic needs or that client's energetic needs. I've had a couple of clients just in the recent couple of weeks who, when they started understanding their profile line and their need, their energetic need for connection, because they have a 4 in their profile, it's been a game changer in the way that they think about what's depleting their energy and how to fill their cup back up. That one little piece has been a game changer in helping them shift the way that they're being. So for me, um, because of my design, my energetic gifts, like I said, I I'm here to serve you, someone who's stuck in patterns that are creating your pain. I'm here to help you because I know that you desire so strongly to break free from patterns passed down from one generation to another. I really believe that when we can look at others, all others, with compassion and curiosity instead of frustration, or instead of being annoyed or angry or furious, that's when you've really stepped into your design, right? That's the actual magic is when we're stuck in our shadows, stuck in our not self, as traditional human design would call it, that's when we feel frustrated. That's when we feel annoyed. That's when we feel angry at other people. But when we can look at people instead of thinking, you did this to me, you did that to me, you're not, fulfilling my expectations, or you're not loving me the way that I deserve to be loved. But when we can instead look at others as, oh, wow, I wonder if you're responding that way because you have an open or undefined identity center, for example. Perhaps you responded that way because you're struggling with your sense of who you are. Or when somebody reacts emotionally, but they have an undefined emotional solar plexus, perhaps they're being overreactive because they're picking up on your emotional energy. So being frustrated with them when they're amplifying you, it changes the game in the way that we see other people. I know that I would like to say that I love unconditionally, or I'm working to continue to strive for that goal, to love unconditionally. But it didn't happen by accident. I mean, I'm just like you, right? Someone who was raised to love until someone hurts me, until my expectations haven't been met. I didn't get to this universal unconditional love by accident, but rather by diligently studying me, studying my design, and by seeing that not only am I perfectly designed to help you break free from patterns that are no longer serving you, but I'm also designed to help you see that our faults are really just manifestations of our shadows. And if I were to be so bold as to say that Our faults, our shadows are the gifts that we are here to learn from. When we're stuck in a pattern, when we're repeating the same thing over and over and over again, and we feel like we're beating our head against the wall and things aren't changing, that is the gift of human design and my design to say, like, whoa, do you see that pattern happening? Perhaps that is what you're supposed to be learning from. Perhaps that is the lesson that you are here to learn. And when you learn that lesson, you open up this door where you can show up in such a different way for your kids, for your significant other, and for yourself. So I'm going to end on that note. I thank you for going down this journey with me. I think, I wanted to share this with you for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's fascinating. It's so fascinating how there all of the key parts of my design really are created or here, when I follow that beautiful story of my design, it really all ties back to serving those who are stuck, who are struggling, who perhaps have experienced trauma, who can't figure out how to break that pattern. And I also shared it because I think it helped me build my own confidence in who I am because this work is never done. I every day I study a little bit more about me and a little bit more and a little bit more. And every day that I study a little bit more, I mean, my gosh, prepping for this podcast today and going through the profile lines and prepping for my client today and going through the profile lines, I was like, oh, I never looked at it that way before. Human design continues to give these little gifts each time that I have expanded the way that I see possibility, the way that I see me, the more that opens up for me. So I would love to give that gift to you as well by helping you to tap into your design and not just learn it. Right. Like I said, I do readings, but the real change comes in figuring out how to tap into your design to show up differently for those who you love most. So I do offer a free consult. The info to book that is in the show notes. And check out my new website. I'm so proud of it. I'm so excited for it. It's angiegrant.com. So AngieGrandt.com. That's also in the show notes, but I'm super excited about it. But check it out. I'd love your feedback about my website, and I'd love to meet with you to help to break those patterns for you as well. So take care. I hope that you found this episode so incredibly powerful. Thank you for joining us for Sometimes Love Isn't Enough. If you resonated with what you heard here, please subscribe to this podcast and give us a review. You can also follow us on all the socials. Check the show notes for all the details about how to start tackling behaviors and creating a powerful, loving relationship with your child, a child who needs your love the most. And if your gut's telling you that it's time for a change now, book a free consult. I'd love to help you love unconditionally and show you that you have that power within you.